Hi, how are you? This is Marty again. Today, we like to talk about three professions that will kill the deal in the course of a real estate transaction, either on the buying side or on the seller side. They are quite important and critical. Would you like to find out for that? Stay tuned. Now, very first person I would like to share with you for this profession that can kill the deal, that is going to be the lender. Now, remember, when the buyer they want to buy the house, first thing they really need to do is go through the lender to find out whether they are qualified to buy, how much they buy can buy the house for. So the lender will ask for a number of informations, things like W-2 for this employee, things like the current pay stubs, the bank statement to show how much down payment you have, and perhaps the income tax file for past 2 years. If you are self-employed person, very critical. You need to submit all this information so that they have underwriting department to help to find out, determine whether you are qualified or not. And if you qualify, how much do you qualify to buy? And then also they will verify your employment verification. That's just the standard procedure. They will go through that. They will actually go through those things, make sure that you are the correct person and you are actually working, you have the money to pay in later on, and also for right now for the down payment as well as initial deposit. They make sure you have enough money. So lender in terms very important. If they don't pass you, they don't approve you, then this transaction can be killed. I do have a one customer in just about the last 6 months ago, and they were trying to buy a house, but because they don't have enough down payment, mainly is because the credit score was not that good. So that's why they was asked by the lender they need to have fix their credit, and not only that, they get a higher interest rate, and that costs their down payment because high interest rate usually means little higher down payment. So they cannot come up with that much of money. So the deal is off. This transaction is off. They are killed by this profession, the lender. So that tells you this is very important. Plus, in a transaction, the purchase agreement, the contingency is always for this 21 days for the loan approval. Very, very important and essential for this transaction to keep going. Lender is very first profession that can kill this deal. So let's pay attention to that. And the second thing I would like to show you, that is the inspector. Now the inspector, they are obviously they have a three in our profession. You can more as many as possible, but we have a three main inspectors for almost every single house. Unless the buyer or seller they want to ask for more, then they can be for anything else. Let's say chimney inspector, let's say the asbestos inspector. Those are very specified, specific inspection, requires license to be able to inspect. Otherwise, we stay with the three main things. The first thing is going to be the home and health inspection. That's the main inspection to basically walk through the entire house from up to down to make sure the plumbing is good, the water heater, the kitchen, the sink, all the bedroom foundation wise is not a lot of damage. So that's the very first thing is a home and health inspector. And the second thing we're talking about, this is a roof inspector. Roof inspectors requires specific license as well. Roof inspection, that is make sure that obviously you don't want leaking roof, and that's for the guarantee for the buyer to live there for future a few years, not to worry about this, because a replacement roof costs a lot of money, and as we all know that's very expensive to do so. So the roof inspection is required. It's not required, but it's really the necessary for people to hire and find out how long the roof life will last. So therefore, you can have a peace of mind that you don't have to worry about it for the next few years until you come to a certain time. It's required to replace the roof. Usually, the insurance will take care of that. But go back here. The second important thing is the roof inspector. And the third important inspector is the termite inspector. This is a major thing that will kill the entire deal. Same thing like previous two. The termite inspector has a lot of things to do because not only he needs to find out anywhere the fungus damage, but he also needs to find out the actual termite damage. And in the end of a termite report, they always show you the damage. Where are the damage? We call the section 1. Section 1 means that is visible damage by termite that you must fix. And that's a requirement during this transaction. As a buyer agent, we can ask for the seller to give us credit for repairment. Or we can, if they don't, we can ask them to repair before turning over the house. That's very important. And also, if they do it, then we can ask them for the deal. That means they give us a credit for future treatment once we move into a house. We can do fumigation or do necessary repairment, fix all the wood damages in the house or in the foundation area. So this thing that can kill the deal. A lot of buyers, they don't like termite. Actually, people scared of wood has there's a box inside the wood and eating your house away. And it's quite very devastating and very frightened to see all that happen. So you wanted to make sure everything is good. The inspector, this profession, is playing a very important role, essential role for this transaction to keep going. Usually, we suggest the seller to provide us the treatment, or they can provide us the credit by the end of a transaction. Then we need to get some money back from them in order to repair the damaged part of the house. Inspection is very important. And we have one more. That's the appraiser. The appraiser in this case is very, very critical. Now, if appraised value is much lower than the agreed purchase price, then the problem comes up because the appraised value is this much, but the purchase price is this much. Now comes the problem that the loan company is only willing to give you the exact percentage of they approve you based on. So they approve you 80%, then they can only give you 80% of money. You need to come up with the 20%. Now, before that, you agree with this price, and they give you 80% of that. So you have at least 20%, you have enough money to buy. Now, the appraised value is much lower, and loan company can only give 80% of the appraised value, which is lower, which means not only you need to have a 20%, you need to have a difference of the purchase price with the appraised price, which means this much. Now you need to prepare. A lot of buyers, they don't have this kind of money to put down, and that's when the deal kills. So this three profession is quite fascinating for the transaction to be keep going. And I would like to share with you one more time that the first thing is the lender, the second thing is the inspector, the third thing is the appraiser. These three professions, in their professional opinion, in their report, they will show it to you the exact material fact. Sometimes that will determine the buyer's interest to buy the house, to go ahead with this transaction or not. So it is very tough. But if you can look for me, I'd be glad to help you to resolve every single problem that exists right here, unless there's a loan problem, which we cannot actually help. Obviously, there are a lot of help out there online, help with down payment, help with the difference, but you need to go through that extensive application to go make sure that you can pass. And at the end of that, you probably need to pay a little more every month. So that's something you need to think of that you want to proceed or not. But look for me, I'd be glad to help you. And thank you very much. We really appreciate you joining us today. I'm right here in the Bay Area with Santa Clara County, San Jose, and all the way to East Bay as well as to San Francisco. I'd be glad to help you. Give me a thumbs up and like it on the way out. Subscribe my channel if you will. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you